You know, just for the fact that this film is the polar opposite of that monstrosity, I have to say, Edgar Wright, thank you. So Baby Driver is a new film by director and writer Edgar Wright, the same guy who brought us Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And in Baby Driver, Baby, played by Ansel Elgort, is a young man with a very particular set of skills. For one thing, he has tinnitus, and he listens to music to drown that tinnitus out, but the music he listens to allows him to focus and become a great getaway driver for the mob. And one day, when Baby's not running jobs for the mob, he meets a girl played by Lily James, they fall for each other, and now they need to try to build their romance while Baby is living in a world of thievery, murder, and corruption. I'm not gonna hold back the suspense, guys. This movie was fantastic. From the beginning to the end of this movie, I loved pretty much every single aspect of it, and it has sealed a fact that Edgar Wright is definitely one of the best directors working today. Starting out, I gotta give him credit for the originality that this film has. And that originality comes directly from the music that is spread throughout the entirety of this thing. And not just from the story aspect, although music plays a major role in the entirety of this film, but from the editing to how the action scenes were shot. Every single action scene in this movie has a piece of music to go with it. And I'd say 60 to 70% of these scenes match beat for beat with the music itself. It doesn't happen very often, but it happened in Baby Driver. Now, we'll get to the performances in a second, but I really got to give praise to the editing of this film. How many times this year already have we gotten films that have either really slow or really choppy editing? It is so great to see a movie like Baby Driver come along and show us what great editing really is. There's a scene in the movie where a character goes from the street to a coffee shop into another building, and it's all filmed to look like one shot. And it was really beautiful to see. But enough of that, let's get down to the performances. There is not one bad performance in this entire movie. Everybody brings it 110%, and they were all great. And Ansel Elgort, if people don't know who he is already, they're going to now. His performance was very subtle, and some might consider it wooden, but in my opinion, I thought it worked perfectly for the tone that Edgar Wright was going for in this film. And what can I honestly say about Kevin Spacey? He was fantastic, but most people would assume that Kevin Spacey would be fantastic. And as far as the romance goes, it is undoubtedly a bit cheesy, but it is the most grounded and most realistically depicted romance I have seen on the big screen in quite a long time. If there's really only one thing I had a problem with the movie, is that I don't think Lily James's character was very well written. We learn so much about Baby and the people he hangs around with and the world that he ultimately knows. We don't really learn anything about Lily James's character except the fact that she falls in love with Baby. But other than that, I have nothing negative to say about Baby Driver. Every technical aspect of this film is perfection. It's extremely well written, extremely well acted, and in my personal opinion, the best film that Edgar Wright has made thus far. And it's one of my personal favorite films of this year, because Baby Driver is suit-worthy. Honestly though, I'm gonna get that soundtrack because it is awesome. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you already seen Baby Driver, and what did you think of it? More importantly, what is your favorite Edgar Wright film thus far? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.